One Piece Wiki currently has 22 confirmed Conquerors Haki users on its site. But what if I told you that there's at least one more person that deserves to be here based on the evidence we've already had presented to us within the story of One Piece? That man is none other than Monkey D. Dragon, the great revolutionary and the world's worst criminal. Now, Dragon is of course Luffy's father and has at least a 90% likelihood of being Garp's son. Garp has called him son before, but there's a section of One Piece fans that believe he is Garp's son through marriage, and even some translation notes that may indicate that could possibly be the case. You know, Conquerors Haki users usually have some sort of kingly ambition and very strong wills. Dragon fits that bill arguably more than anybody in the world. Dragon literally wants to change the world with a groundbreaking reform to rebel against the world government and revolutionize society as a whole. But that in and of itself is not enough to say with absolute certainty that it is already confirmed he has Conquerors Haki, despite that alone being obvious enough. We do have concrete evidence that, in my opinion, just straight up confirms it. There's no room for interpretation here at all. Back in Marineford, when Luffy uses Conquerors Haki for the first time unconsciously in chapter 569, we started to get these reactions from everybody watching. You see the likes of Marco, Akainu, Kizaru, Mihawk, Garp, Ace all reacting to Luffy using this power. But there's two people specifically that say things that in conjunction completely confirmed Dragon as Conquerors Haki, in my view. One of the Marine soldiers says, "Those with weak wills, back out." He's no ordinary rookie as Luffy runs toward them. Vice Admiral Doberman then says, "He's the son of the revolutionary dragon. It's not surprising that he has that ability." Here's even the raw kanji that when translated by ChatGPT says, "Don't think for a second that he's just an ordinary rookie. Weaklings fall back. Revolutionary dragon's son, that's a natural talent." Again, in line with the Viz translation, correlating Luffy using Conquerors Haki to it being a bloodline talent stemming from Dragon. Now, at face value, you might say, well, maybe he's just speculating, but the Marines actually have credibility when it comes to Dragon, because in Kuma's flashback, we actually got confirmation that Dragon was a Marine for a period of his life. So not only would they have the intel on him outside, but they also have insider information from his time within the Marines. But even if you didn't want to use that one, this example wraps the bow up and solidifies it absolutely. We then see Ivankov, who is of course one of Dragon's closest officers, say, "Hey, when and where did you gain that power?" Luffy says, "What do you mean?" Ivankov then says, "It's nothing," but then has inner dialogue where he says he didn't even notice. His power is still sleeping, but of course, he naturally draws people to him. There's no mistaking that he has your blood, Dragon. The raw kanji, again translated by ChatGPT, even makes it more clear, as Ivankov says, "What on earth? This can't be happening." He doesn't even realize it, but his power, even now, is still dormant. Yet, by his sheer willpower, he draws people in. Dragon. His blood is truly something incredible. This is Ivankov, who would absolutely know with 100% certainty that Dragon has Conquerors Haki. And after seeing Luffy use Conquerors Haki, he comes to the conclusion that there is absolutely no more speculation as to whether or not Luffy is truly the son of Dragon. You could also even throw in Garp's dialogue of "so he was really born with it" in here as well, as an indication that absolutely somebody in the family would have Conquerors Haki. We obviously have confirmation that Garp has Conquerors Haki, but that seems to align with the fact that, yeah, it would go from Garp to Dragon to Luffy. But like I said earlier, some people believe that Dragon isn't Garp's son. Doesn't matter either way. They both have it from whatever lineage they're from. The beginning of chapter 100 in Logtown also reinforces this, as there's a quote from Roger being orated over panels of Dragon that says, "These things cannot be stopped. An inherited strength of will, one's dreams, the ebb and flow of the ages. As long as people hunger for freedom, these things will exist." And then you get the last shot of Dragon saying, "A pirate, eh? Not a bad idea." Now, what I take from that is an inherited strength of will. This was one of the first times Luffy had showcased how strong his will was in Logtown, where he laughed, he wasn't afraid of death. Will translates to Haki, and Oda is putting emphasis on the fact that, yes, Luffy has inherited from Dragon. You could take that as an interpretation as well. Also, fun fact for Dragon, for potential anime-only watchers, Dragon showcased some of his abilities in Logtown when he saved Luffy from Smoker. And some people say that he is using a name tag here called Wind Blast, but it doesn't seem like he's yelling, and it's very possible that it's just a fodder calling out a Wind Blast because it's very similar in Japanese. The phrase, like the kanji, would be very similar in Japanese. So regardless, whether it is a named attack or isn't, this goes in line with the theory that he may have the Wind fruit or some kind of weather controlling fruit. Wind or storm seem the most likely to me, and I would believe that he is probably a Logia, although some people believe that he is going to be his own, like a lot of the characters we've recently seen. But I do believe that the Logia hype is just getting started. We still have yet to see a Logia awakening, and Blackbeard, Akainu, Aokiji, and potentially Dragon, four of some of the most prominent forces toward the endgame of One Piece, all have these abilities. It is going to truly break the series when we get to see the true potential of these abilities. If you want more insight on that, check out my Aokiji and Akainu narrative analysis. Remember the words from Cobra: the real gods, they control the weather. Let me know what you guys think below. Do you think this is enough to add him to the list officially? I personally do, and I can't wait to see this monster fully unleash his power once and for all. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.